This is Chris Hansen.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
It's your favorite basketball player, Tyler Hansbrough.
This is Jamie Hudson.
This is TJ Houshmandzadeh.
And I'm going to let y'all know something.
Duke sucks and Duke will always suck.
You're listening to
It Just Makes Sense.
It just makes sense.
We are sports. We are nostalgia. We are pop culture. And we're funny sometimes.
I think overall we're just a good time.
They thought we couldn't do it. But guess what?
We're back.
Podcasts are free, and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
We never knew what we were doing in the first place.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I think you often wonder when you're so used to these big stars in the NBA or any type of league, like who's next? And I think Ant has definitely placed his claim as one of the next superstars.
He is unquestionably one of the best in the world. His reputation will be stained by just the amount of times that he just wasn't available to you. To not have that and to have the opportunity to see that is one of the biggest disappointments, I think, for all NBA.
And who are we
Speaking of
to
losing,
call people out on losing bets, okay? We suck at betting.
And remember, don't be afraid to fade yourself.
the whole episode is going to start off rocky because and Rocky 2, according to your joke. No, but I offered Braxton some gifts and he turned them down.
According to them, it was gross.
I would consider those gifts.
They were gifts.
Were they work hats?
They were actually not even my hats.
Why were they that dirty?
Hi, Brody.
What's up,
Do you want to come say hi? All right, come to the pod. Now introducing to the podcast, Brody Sokach. All right, here you go. Here's your microphone. What do you want to say to the group?
Brody, say boobies.
Don't do that. What do you...
Say boobies.
What do you... He is unquestionably one of the best in the world. And to not have that and to have the opportunity to see that is one of the biggest disappointments, I think, for all NBA fans. To be able to say, we'll never really know just how awesome Kawhi Leonard really was, because his reputation will be marred, will be stained by just the amount of times that he just wasn't available to you.
Helping.
A cadet helped you, yeah. What are you eating there?
Chicken sandwich crust.
Chicken sandwich crust, yeah.
Ooh.
Who do you think's going to win the NBA Finals?
I think you.
You think I'm going to win? Okay, do you...
That's a long shot.
What about... Okay,
I don't know, man.
Brody, what do you think? The Nuggets? Do you think the Nuggets will win or the Timberwolves?
That's plus 90,000.
I do like... I did see Wesley's horse named Timber, and he was mad at me, so I think Timber win.
You think the Timberwolves win because of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw...
That makes sense.
Do you think that Anthony Edwards seems more like Kobe or LeBron?
LeBron.
More like LeBron. Okay, what about Kobe or LeBron or Jordan?
Him.
Jordan.
You think that Anthony Edwards
Jordan.
is more like Jordan, more like Michael Jordan? Might be his love child, actually. Yeah. Anyways.
Not that guy. That guy's fat.
Yeah, no, that guy's just on a treadmill walking. Isn't that silly? Brody, how old are you? Say it with you. Say it loud and proud.
5.
5. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about sports? Yep, that works.
We do have a little break before. I've never played any kind of sport before.
No, that's not true. You and me went to a basketball camp, remember?
Uh-huh.
Did you like basketball? You going to continue doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you want to be a professional podcaster like your daddy and his friends someday? Sponsored?
Ain't no professional.
I do know how to dribble now.
You do know how to dribble. That's good.
That's
imperative to being a
huge.
podcast.
That is
Big
huge.
time.
It's better than me, actually.
We had to teach Peter how to dribble
That's
before we
very
could
true.
start this.
Do I get a hug and a kiss? Love you.
Love you.
Good night, broads.
Brody Sokach, ladies and gentlemen. Just absolutely annihilated that beer on a fist bump. That was your fault. I will say that.
You did that to yourself.
That's true.
Okay.
Brody knew you turned down the dirty hats. And he had to get you back.
Yeah, I know. He did you dirty right back with those dirty hats, which were, I was going to finish that, were never mine. I actually received those as part of a collection of things that I received from the Buy Nothing group that we're in, and I did not want those. So you got my cast-offs of things
thanks,
that I never...
Thanks for offering me your trash.
You're welcome. And I thought it looked like perfect for you. Welcome to It Just Makes Sense, presented by Brody.
I didn't even look at them
appearance.
up close. Were they that bad?
They were grimy.
Yeah, but like you, in any case like that, you would probably put them like through the wash or something like that, wouldn't you?
Who washes hats?
I've never washed a hat.
I've actually never watched a hat, but people do that sometimes.
No, you get
People's wives do that.
And
No.
who takes on, like, I get getting a hat passed down from a friend,
Yeah.
but who takes on
Stranger
a
hats.
complete stranger's hat for
That's
free?
got lice written all over it.
You know who
Stranger
would
hats.
appreciate these hats? Like homeless people.
Home. Okay, sure. So
Yeah.
well, he
Do I
looks
look homeless to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't answer that.
I think he has an address. So
Yeah.
I don't think he has.
I'll give you my address, bitch.
Don't do it. Don't open that gate.
Don't do it. Well, I'm very happy that we got a nice cameo from Brody that's going to skyrocket the numbers because kids.
I thought you were gonna tear up.
I was very proud. Yeah.
All the
love
kids in
that.
his daycare just can't wait to listen
yeah,
to this.
I know.
Tune in, motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's gonna like send me the links. I've got you.
Did they say boobies?
That's where we're at.
That's just the beginning.
That is, yeah.
Dude, that's pretty PG for this podcast. Boobies.
He could eventually be our intern, maybe.
Let's start him tomorrow.
Okay, we'll work on that. We shall work on that. Well, let's see. Update from last week. A couple of things that we need to housekeeping. Number one, still don't know if Nora is alive. However, the Wingstop is off of their porch because there were Amazon packages that were delivered.
I bet you another neighbor picked up the wings.
It's
They never
possible.
took it.
And then lawmakers are starting to dabble into the Dave and Buster's, friend on friend gambling situation, talking about how deeply concerned they are about the.
Did it get out of control already?
Well, it hasn't gone into effect, but let's see.
Someone's in debt with their power card because they lost that many bets.
Spokesperson for the Ohio Casino Control Commission says that it has serious concerns that the proposal for Dave & Buster's to allow customers to bet on arcade games appears to violate Ohio law. They're reaching out to Dave & Buster's for more information, and so are we.
I
No
would
comment
like
so far.
to know the numbers of what, on average, people pay to reload their power card, and then after this whole betting thing, how much people are putting in compared to the number before.
Here's the thing. You can only bet a maximum of $5, I'm pretty sure it was.
Right, yeah.
And I think the loophole that Dave & Buster's has is because it's a credit system, right?
Yeah, like you can't cash that out.
Yeah, so once you load money onto the card, it seems that you are purchasing credits. So what you are betting is credits, not money.
Right,
I
like
think that's-
$5 in credits versus
Yes.
yeah. And that's the thing too, it's just kind of like, okay, someone gets $5 from someone. What's to say that Venmo isn't illegal then? Right? Like, I mean, if you're allowing transfer of money in between, like electronically, what's to say that something like a Venmo wouldn't be illegal?
I think you guys are
because-
also underestimating how degenerate gamblers are. I mean, you could bet on any fucking thing, and you could stay on that Connect 4 basketball for 2 hours, and no matter if it's
hustle
credits
a bunch of
or
7-year-olds.
gummy bears, no matter what, you'll find a way to lose a lot of money or win a lot of money.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm for this. That's what I'm trying to say is that they should have, they should be allowed to do it because of the loophole that they're not technically betting money.
Right. And
They're betting something that has value, but it only has value in that place.
But like, what if that value gets you closer to like a PS4 or some sort of
give 'em
For
prize?
for the souvenir shop.
Yeah, because like
that would take forever.
what I mean, but you know,
We play for hours and we walk away with a cup. I mean,
the
they'll
cup
take
I
it.
use to this day.
Yeah, that's a great David
one of
Buster's
those
cup.
little plastic things you turn inside out and it pops up in the air.
Dude, that cup that we walked away with have been used on river days because it's got a lid and a straw.
Yeah,
Fill it up with whiskey cokes.
it's infamous.
Great.
It's a great cup.
Infamous. Speaking of boat day, the weather is turning out to be very nice here in the Pacific Northwest coming
We
up.
going on a boat this weekend?
Which, well, no, not quite. It's a little chilly still, but I'm very excited for the possibility of boat day this year. So, you know,
Yeah, fingers crossed it happens.
get your tits out.
I hope it happens.
Is that what they say?
I don't know what. Well, that's what I just said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, I rented a pontoon boat. Get your tits out.
Well,
Sure, that'll be well received.
so I say tits, and you guys try and tell my child to say boobies, and all of a sudden we're
Yeah, because
diagnosing what-
we're mature.
Boobies is PG. Tits, it's a little bit past the line, dude.
Show me your areolas.
That's even more nerdy.
No.
Can't believe you fell
Oh
for
my
that.
god! I thought a net or someone walked by. I've got new neighbors, and I didn't even realize the context.
First HOA meeting. So, are you the one on?
I didn't even think about the consequences of me screaming that. And Braxton, for those who are just listening,
You gotta tune into the YouTube.
throws his hand up in the air like he's waving to one of my brand new neighbors. And I need to go back and look at like how shocked my face was just now.
Technically, we don't even need the garage door open because
Yeah.
I'm not smoking. But it worked out in this particular instance.
Holy crap. Oh my gosh.
Got him.
The panic on my face just now.
You wanted to commit to the bit, and then you got.
Yeah, new neighbors gone wrong. Something else gone wrong is a couple weeks ago I had shown you guys a number of songs about like what AI is doing with songs, and so I found another AI song, but this one gone very, very wrong. So let me go ahead and play that for you. This one was asking AI to make a hit country song. And here is that.
I woke up in the morning to crack myself a beer. Then went down to the kitchen to grab myself a beer. Made myself some breakfast, another beer, of course. That's when my baby said to me, I won't get a divorce. Well, now I definitely need to go grab another beer or two or three so I can start thinking clear. Oh, it's a perfect day for beer, yeah, that's just what I need. Just one or two or three. Oh, I don't know what day it is, so I don't need to know a thing except where I put my beer. Now come on, y'all, let's sing. Beer, 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 it's got me thinking clear. It's got me feeling great. Come on, y'all, let's cheer. Beer, 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 it's got me feeling right. Ain't nothing like a beer in the morning, noon, and night.
There you go. So
I think that was fine.
you love that? You love that so
Yeah,
much?
where did that
Okay.
go wrong?
Well, hold on, because I realized that I may have actually played the wrong one as it was going through.
yeah.
Let me see if this is the right one. Hold on.
My truck, oh, she's a beauty with chrome rims and a jacked up booty. Got a body made of solid steel, and when we get naughty, it feels so real. I'm in love with a truck, but you can't touch me. She picks me up. It's a country love scene. Those slippery seats make me feel so right. And when she revs her engine, ooh, it makes my night. Oh, slam and on me, baby. That's a stitch and drives me crazy. Just run me
So far, good. So
These
good.
all sound like
alright,
normal
alright.
country songs.
Yeah. So far, so
You're
good.
talking about having sex with a tailpipe? Okay, hold on. One moment, I feel like
You
Take
gotta
three,
cut. You
take
gotta
three,
cut your
take
losses
three.
there,
Yeah.
Areola
Take
boy.
Yeah. I feel like there was one about
Did you just call him little boy?
Areola boy is
Areola
digging himself
boy.
a hole.
Yeah.
You hit him with a little boy.
little boy. Yeah.
Areola boy's digging himself a hole
Yeah,
here.
well, Arreola boys got all the time in the world to make you suffer through AI songs. Well, either way, I feel like there was something about.
Way to give up.
Yeah, all the time in the world was about 2 seconds.
Well, anyways, I feel like there was one that I had where I was talking. Never mind. Great songs. Speaking of great songs, I actually have a good AI song. Hold on. One that I actually thought was good, which was
This is just like a normal Carrie Underwood song.
it is.
I'm making my way to the promised land where the chicken's golden and the blessings expand.
You played this for us.
At a KFC
It sounds,
one.
No, this sounds similar to the Chili's one.
I'm almost positive you played the Chick-fil-A one.
I haven't heard the Chick-fil-A one. I haven't heard that one.
Waffle fries, they make my spirit whole. Yes, Lord, so crispy and delicious. They're with the fresh sweet lemonade. Oh, lemonade, the gates of heaven.
You're gonna like the key change.
Every day except Sunday, you can have a taste of heaven. Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
And then it ends. Unfortunately, they leave you wanting more.
The best part about that is
More lemonade.
that is being performed at a church while Chick-fil-A is closed.
Yeah.
It's like
Closed
it makes
except
you want
on
Chick-fil-A. You
Sundays.
leave church and like, oh, by the way, they're fucking closed.
Closed except on Sundays. So
You know who else came out with a new song? A real song.
a real song.
Oh
Knox?
yeah, he had me listen to it today.
Knox came out with a new song. Is that where you're going with that?
No.
Oh.
Even better.
Chase Wilde, Attorney at Law.
No. Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé came out with a new song.
With a pop star, a male pop star. Can you guess?
How many guesses did it take me to guess it today?
Probably about 15.
Post Malone.
No.
Is Post Malone a
I would
pop
say
star?
he's yeah.
It
but
falls
no.
there. All right, if you beat me, I owe you $10.
Justin Timberlake.
So you're 2 guesses in. It took me 15. Are you sure?
About
Am I-
12 to 15.
New age pop or old
I didn't ask
age?
for- I didn't ask for
all
hints.
right.
I didn't ask for
He's
hints.
been around for a while.
Yeah, I didn't
But
ask for
to be
hints.
fair, when you did finally guess him, you were hearing his voice.
Oh,
That's fine.
interesting.
So if I was in the 12 to 15 range, I'll give you, to be fair, give you 20.
I don't even know if I could tell you 20 male pop stars.
Okay, then scratch the bet.
yeah,
if we're not
like,
even going to get there.
Who was it?
Play it.
All right, hold
It's
on.
called Spicy Margarita.
Spicy Margarita. We're going to get
Then
so
he's gonna see the artist.
copyrighted.
Yeah.
We're going to get so copyrighted, and I love it. Oh, with Jason freaking Derulo.
Yeah, we can't put this on TikTok now.
Come on. It's already got 32 million plays.
That's right, baby.
This is a make me sway. No, we can't play because I don't want to. We're going to get banned. We've been banned in other countries before.
Margarita, babe.
Did we lose listeners in Bangladesh? That's where we lost it.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah, at what point does he say that in the song?
He doesn't.
At the end.
He
After
doesn't.
mustard on the beat.
Mustard on the beat. Oh.
Where do you guys stand on this Drake-Kendrick feud? Because we are the authority of that.
I feel like all this is reminding me is how much I don't care like I used to when it comes to stuff like this. Because I was back, I don't know how long it was ago, like 15, 17 years ago when it was G Unit in the game. Man, I was all over that. I was listening to it. I wasn't paying attention to this until Jordan brought it up while I was getting a haircut, and he made us listen to like the first 4. Because they were just releasing one after the other.
Right, because like apparently Kendrick had just like a line a while ago.
It was a pretty sick fucking line.
Yeah. And then like Drake just took it super personally and it's just been like eviscerating.
All I know is
Kendrick.
this is what everyone's been saying, because I don't know. I listened to each song once. That Kendrick's been winning, completely annihilating Drake. And I didn't know there's all this like underage shit with Drake. Like I didn't know any of that existed.
Oh,
until
really?
This
Yeah.
he's being called a pedophile.
Yeah.
And all this shit. And
He
I didn't
does
know
have a
any of that
weird
existed.
Relationship with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that line you're talking about, that is in the second Kendrick diss song, and with the whole thing calling him a pedophile, it was a pretty sick bar. It was, you struck a chord, and it was probably a minor. It's a fucking money rap bar, okay? It was a pretty fucking great bar.
I think the other thing that I learned from all this, and it's very little that I have learned, but one thing that was kind of surprising to me is that Kendrick has kind of, I agree that he's won this whole thing, and a part of his diss tracks, he's kind of saying that, hey, everybody feels this way, and I'm just the one who's bold enough to say it.
Sure.
And then slowly but surely, everybody's kind of coming out. Rick Ross was one of the people, but a lot of people are like, yeah, we don't really like Drake. And
Drake's so lame.
now that somebody's actually said something, we agree.
It's like once you open the floodgates, like,
Yeah.
oh, people can speak out now.
I will. One of the worst concerts that I have been to at Moda Center, probably of all time, was actually a Drake concert. I just like the vibes were so bad, mainly because like I didn't necessarily think that a rap concert would have floor seating. You kind of like anticipated that whole like floor section would be like not a mosh pit, but like a general admission, people pressed up against each other right there.
To be fair,
And
though,
it was so sleepy.
a Moda rap concert at Moda is just not a good.
That's
a good
not the
time.
right spot anyway.
It doesn't. I've seen a lot of rap concerts at Moda, especially around in Portland. This is not the demographic.
Not the people.
It's just not good. I will say, however, I think it seems like from paying attention in the rap world, the way people are viewing Drake and the way people are speaking up. I'm not saying, he's not fucking twisted or he didn't commit any of the things he's being accused of, but the same way that people hate him, the same way that people were hating Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Whoever's like the most successful and at the top, usually you get a lot more people kind of like, fuck you.
Right. Is this whole thing though somewhat, and I'm going to lean on you for this because
Why not me?
Well, he was just talking about how
Because
much
Bublé's your favorite.
and he was just talking about, and maybe you know this context. I'm not going to say that you
How
can't
dare
weigh
you?
in on it.
Continue.
He was talking about the 15, 17 years ago. And I'm curious if this type of feud is so elementary compared to how big the stakes were before, because many people lost their jobs, their lives over feuds like this in the rap world.
Well, this whole beef is bringing out a lot of shit from way back when, and not just this beef, but including all the Diddy shit. So they're saying that Diddy had something to do with Biggie's death when Biggie was on his side. It was it's being shown that whenever someone on Diddy's side gets a little bit too popular, too famous, he didn't want the spotlight taken away from him, so he organized Biggie's death. There's all these tinfoil hat guys, theories that they're saying he was involved in that. And same with the beefs. It's not any that is a big exception, the Tupac Biggie shit. I mean, people were dead. But G-Unit and Game and Jay-Z and Nas, none of those guys died. It was just because that's what it led us to in like barbershop talk is like, what is the best diss song in the rap world? These, we're not even close. Like, what is the best diss song in your opinion?
The best diss song?
Like a diss, like dissing someone in rap. I mean, these are fucking popular, so I would expect you to have heard it.
Probably, I don't know, Mariah Carey to Eminem, Why You So Obsessed With Me?
Totally forgot about that beef.
Yeah, dude.
No, but Hit 'Em Up with Tupac.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
people would argue that I would be on the side of people, the crowd that says that's number one, but there's also a lot of people my age that would say Ether, Nas towards Jay-Z, because that was just a straight, like, that song started with fuck Jay-Z and ended with fuck Jay-Z with every fucking line in it.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Hit 'Em Up was just, like, more intense. And then you have, 4 years ago, you have Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem, where Eminem buried him.
Oh, yeah, that was not even going to be...
That was pretty good, too.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have lots to say on
Yeah.
this.
Well, okay, so we need to create a diss track against the other It Just Makes Sense then.
Dude,
So
we already beat him.
we did. It's like the only conspiracy out there is your podcast. Oh. God.
Yeah, you wouldn't be in charge of writing this.
You can cut
That's
that.
how we lost right there.
You can cut that.
Yeah, the only conspiracy is you thinking that your podcast is better.
Former lovers.
Former lovers.
Fuck your bitch and the clique you claim. West Side.
Yeah.
That's how it would start, and we already won. Like, we can't say that.
Yeah. But that's...
You want to fucking get in the beef with someone and write a diss track on them? You want to get in that world? Find one of your
I would like
neighbors
to
that
do
you
that.
don't like. See if we could. Let's write a diss
maybe
track.
the murderer one.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Nate, because he has murder vibes. I don't necessarily know if you want to go in on someone that you know is a murderer.
All I know for sure is
I mean, you said that you saw him going in and out of his garage, and you said it was very suspect.
no, I did not. That is not what I said.
Said
at all.
you recorded him.
Yeah, you
I
said that
s-
you were
I said
alarmed.
that it was very, very normal. But I will
Not
say
how I interpreted it.
that ordering Wingstop and then forgetting it on your doorstep—that's a boozer move.
Yeah.
They be boozing.
Hopefully they have an air fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 3 days.
No, it was like,
You can't
on
microwave
the
that
porch.
shit. You gotta kill the bacteria.
You gotta hit that with the fryer. Full.
You gotta
temp.
refry it and then retoss it
Yeah.
in the sauce.
Yeah, 450 at least.
I like that. Retoss. That's a great word.
While we don't know if Nora herself is dead, one thing that we might be able to also wonder if they are dead or not are the Denver Nuggets. Like that transition.
What a shock, huh?
2-0, they're down.
It's not just 2-0. It's how 2-0 has
How
happened.
2-0. Yeah. Game 2, they had no answers. The fact that the Nuggets got away with so much stuff during that game. Mike Malone coming onto the court. Michael Malone coming onto the court.
The Michael correction is always going to be funny. No matter what context. You just keep going. You can go for hours.
Defender. You were a defender of Mike Malone.
And
Michael.
I respect his mother.
Isn't it weird how everything kind of flipped upside down? It's like the Nuggets, as successful as they have been, are not a team that's hated. But that game 2, made a lot of people dislike them. It showed how much the NBA were kind of catering to them. I mean, there should have been at least 4 ejections in that game.
For sure.
A handful of technical fouls. I mean, shit that you don't see that would slide in any other game with any other team.
It wasn't just that Michael Malone had went after the official and complained. It was how he did it. I mean, it looked like he was going to step to this official. The official had words for him back, and then later on in the game when things are not going well for Jamal Murray, they seem to have an answer there, frustrating him, exposing his calf injury, is him throwing the towel and then throwing his heat pack.
In the middle of a play. Did you watch it?
I did not see that.
Yeah, so he throws the towel, realizes the towel is not going to go far enough, takes one of those wraps, those old school wraps, and tosses it at the official, almost gets it onto the court.
It was on the court.
It was on the court, yeah, and so now he was just fined $100,000, not suspended. And, of course, he wasn't going to get suspended because of the current state of where the playoffs are and where the Nuggets are as well.
Imagine in the middle of a play, he threw the ice back and it landed right on that charge line, the offensive foul line.
Yeah.
While Jokic and Kat and them were trying to grab for a rebound, they could have landed on it.
It was wholly irresponsible. It was dangerous.
If it was anyone
everything.
else, you would have been suspended.
Yeah, I mean, you take any of the people that I would hate in the NBA, and I would be so up in arms right now. Fake outrage. I mean, there's a lot of people who are that today.
The Nuggets just you're right. They got away with so much that game while getting blown out by fucking 20, 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Timberwolves' largest playoff road win in franchise history.
Oh, and Gobert didn't play that game.
Yeah, he had a kid, so there was that. So Gobert wasn't even playing because he had a babby. And yeah, so then now the Nuggets are down 0-2. But my question is, because you've been high on the Nuggets, you've been Mr.
Who hasn't been?
Mr. Nugget,
Me.
Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is despite being down 0-2? They're at plus 400 to win the series. They could very well go in and flip that right back on its head, especially in Game 3. They're going to win Game 3 on Friday. I would almost guarantee that one.
They seem to have an answer for Jokic, and that's kind of hard to ignore. And it's not even – I think people came into the series saying – and I'm not saying this isn't a factor, but they came into the series saying the last time you saw Jokic struggle or have some or teams have some sort of answer for him were the bubble Lakers. Because they had JaVale McGee, they had Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis. They had 3 7-footers in rotation to at least contain him, not stop him. And that hasn't happened until now with Kat and Gobert. And everyone kind of came into the series saying they have 2 7-footers that they could mess with them and frustrate him a little. And then they got blown out in the first game, and people felt justified. And then Game 2, Gobert didn't play. And they got blown out by more.
Yeah.
Because the guy that's been stopping Jokic were neither of the 7-footers. It's their fucking 6th man. It's Naz Reid.
Yeah.
The guy who isn't as tall, who's just the scrappiest player on the floor, and he's frustrating the shit out of Jokic. But not just that. They are stopping Jamal Murray. And he has won a lot of games for them. I mean, Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniel, they are just hounding the fuck out of him. And the fact that he's not 100% healthy.
Yeah, they're exploiting the injury.
Yeah.
Not only that, but
something other teams couldn't do.
What Minnesota, I feel, it has been doing really well is kind of spoiling the front half of every Nuggets possession. So, what they do is they'll press and they'll do all this stuff. They, don't allow the Nuggets to kind of, really get comfortable, get the ball into Jokic's hand. And then all of a sudden, they're scrambling at the end of their
shot clock?
Their shot clock, yeah. And it's just... it's wasted at that point. So I think that, in order for the Nuggets to turn this around, they've really got to, press the ball up, start moving the ball a little bit faster to get, get a lot more movement to start distracting Minnesota.
I also
away.
feel like what I've said before about the Nuggets and how they kind of instill that fear into other teams, it's not present with Minnesota. Minnesota's not scared of them.
Right, yeah. And
if anything, Ant's he's the one instilling fear in people. He's cooking everyone guarding him.
It's kind of and I'm not trying to call him a puppy dog, but it's almost it's a confidence that he's not intimidated by anything because he hasn't necessarily
confidence of youth.
Yeah, he hasn't been confronted with that. And so sometimes when you think about a youthful team, you're always worried about a young team because no one's there. But there's a nice mixture that then allows Ant to really just thrive under that.
That's the great thing about him, though, is
under that spotlight.
If you've been paying attention with him since high school and then college all the way to the Georgia all the way to the pros, he's been the same player. He's just not afraid of anything, and he's kind of like, he kind of runs free. He's not the guy that you can contain, like tell what to say in the media and tell him how to act. He's been the same guy.
Yeah.
And I get the comparisons, as annoying as they are, they're always going to, there's always people that are going to talk, oh, he's like so-and-so, he's like so-and-so. And I've heard the Jordan comparisons because he looks like him and it's his kid.
Looks like his child, yeah.
His game is not Jordan's, is not Kobe's, it's not LeBron's. His game is extremely similar to Dwayne Wade. Like prime peak Dwayne Wade from 06 to 14. His game, his demeanor, his style is everything Dwayne Wade from when he was good. That's what I see in
right
him, not Jordan.
Yeah, and I think that, like, you know, the comparisons where they've done side by sides and recreating photos of Ant with Jordan and everything, it's like, you know, people would love to make that comparison because of their similar looks or whatnot. But yeah, I think that, like, the Dwayne Wade is more of an accurate comparison, but it's not as sexy of a headline, right? Like, yeah. I think that people are trying to force that down, and it's unfair. Like, don't do that to him. He doesn't want that to happen. It's lazy journalism, but that's what we do.
Yeah, and it kind of takes some of the credit from his individual talent and ability.
He's Ant. He's not anyone else.
Exactly. And to your point, Miguel, I think one thing that's great about a player like Ant is that he has stayed kind of that similar personality and similar style of play throughout all these years. But you can literally look at his growth every single year, statistically, just becoming better and better and better. So, I mean, I love watching him play. It's very, very exciting, you know, especially at our age where we've kind of, you know, seen the progression of LeBron and Steph Curry and D. Wade and those those kinds of names. I think you often wonder when you're so used to these kind of, you know, big stars in the NBA or any type of league, like who's next? And I think Ant has definitely placed his claim as one of, like, the next superstars, one of the guys who are going to be the face of the NBA once some of this older cast has moved along.
Right, and like kind of looking at, you know, some of the newer, younger players, like, I started getting more excited about basketball again, like covering the NBA for as long as I did, and just like the cast of characters and everything. And maybe eventually these guys will wear on me and I will get annoyed with them again.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, but I mean, like when I was going up and down of like some of the like the young talent. It's like, you know, you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You have Luka to an extent. Even like Jokic is like on the tail end of young, but he's still like 28, 27, 28 years old. He's going to be there for a while. And then you have, you know, Trae Young. You have even to an extent, I'm not going to say Dylan Brooks, but Dylan Brooks is the one who's like going to like rattle you up a little bit more. But
that name doesn't belong with everyone.
No, I know. But I'm just like, so like Anthony Edwards and those types as well. So it's like, so excited to think about like the younger generation of players because, you know, we're seeing a lot of those people shine. Wembanyama as well, obviously rookie of the year.
Yes, and then the white guy for the Thunder,
Chet
Holmgren.
Yeah. Here's what I find funny with the takes that people like us and then like the professional hot taker guys, Skip Bayless and all them fucks. The thing with the NBA is it just gets recycled. Your takes get recycled every single season because the same guys that we're looking at today, like who's exciting today and who are the two? It's Shai and Ant, right?
Yeah.
It's the same conversation we had 2 seasons ago with Tatum and Luka. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But what happens is, this applies to everyone. You have these players that you don't like. You know, you dislike LeBron. And then you get every season you have 2 or 3 that becomes quote unquote the face of the league. And we had kind of forgotten who was successful the season previous because of recency bias. And then it just keeps going. And then you become so successful that you're hated. So they build you up to the top and then they fucking tear you back down because you've been winning. It happens every year, right? But like the Ant and the Tatums and all that, every year you just find someone that clicks with you and that like touches you in a way that's like, this guy isn't like LeBron. The reason Ant is so liked is because of all these post-game interviews, how humble he is, and how he says, it's not me, it's the team. You know, he doesn't say, I'm the greatest, and then he gets all these fans to like him, and it's part of the whole build-up. And then Minnesota maybe will win a championship, maybe they won't, but it's the same way that Giannis was talked about, and then Giannis won a championship, and it's like, fuck Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We're ready to see somebody else. I mean, it's the same shit every single year, and then you forget the likes of, like, no one's talked about Tatum. Yeah, the Celtics are probably on the verge of winning it. Like, this is a real shot from the last 3 years that they can actually win the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if the Timberwolves can take care of the Nuggets, who were long viewed as the most formidable Western Conference opponent. And like, oh gosh, where was I going to go with that? Where you were talking about the thing about Anthony Edwards. You know, like there's like a naivete, there's like a youthful ignorance to him that's almost endearing. There is a humbleness that you talk about, which may or may not be a put on, who knows. One thing that always stuck out with me, one of the things that like won me over with him was kind of his take this past All-Star game, I think it was. Maybe it was one previous. No, it was this All-Star game. Talking just about like why it's important to play hard in an All-Star game. And for whatever reason, like his take on that and just like...
Yeah, and like load management.
Right, yeah, and load management and why would I ever load man, all that. I was just like, hell yeah, dude. Like I can get behind this type of thing. And was it coached? Was it calculated? Possibly.
That's kind of what I like to picture in my head, to just like get under the skin of people like you. It's like, oh, LeBron goes, well, I'm the greatest scorer. I'm the best player in history. I'm the GOAT. And then I like to think that when people talk about players like Anthony Edwards, they're like, well, Anthony Edwards is saying all the right things. And I like to picture Anthony Edwards goes back to his homies and goes, I'm the fucking greatest. I'm just getting all these assholes and these idiots to buy into what I'm saying.
But we've talked about this, right? I think that we've talked about this on this pod before. It's like, let other people do the talking for you. Let other people dictate that. Let other people. There's no one in the world who has said that LeBron is just like Jordan. All of a sudden, we're just kind of casually accepting that Anthony Edwards could be the next Michael Jordan. That's insane if we would have thought, because LeBron was so vocal in himself to the point where he suffocated the opinion of himself. But allow other people to dictate that for you, and then just accept it. All right. And I know that it's like a tough comparison because if you don't live up to that.
Well, comparisons are fucking dumb anyway.
Yeah,
it's all going to be different based on generational difference. You always view, why have we always viewed Michael Jordan as the greatest ever? And the generation before us was like, what are you talking about? It's always been Kareem. It's always been Bill Russell. It's who you grew up watching and who kind of stuck with you. And the people younger than us, we're sitting here like old heads going, how could you say it's LeBron? But it's like, because we grew up with Jordan.
Right.
That's our greatest. I will just say, you know who's playing his fucking tail off this season and this playoffs is Kyrie.
Kyrie, yeah.
Kyrie
I was just
is
gonna look up
fucking
that.
Insane right now. I don't know if they're winning, but
yeah,
you guys mentioned Dylan Brooks. Did you see him at the EuroLeague Championship?
I purposely don't watch anything he's a part of, but go on.
I did not recognize him. He looked like a middle-aged mother.
You get rid of the braids?
Yeah, he has like long, straight hair.
Interesting.
You should pull up the picture.
Dylan Brooks,
he looks like
it sounds scary.
He looks like a middle-aged mother.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What did Lindsay just send me?
Food's here. But we didn't see it.
Is it? No.
Just look up middle-aged mother.
Dylan
for
Brooks.
the EuroLeague.
Dylan Brooks EuroLeague. Eurobasket or EuroLeague?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, this is great podcasting here.
You ever Googled search before?
I will. Oh my gosh, you're right. Look at that.
I'm a therapist who goes.
Oh, shut up.
I'm a
BetterHelp.
therapist who goes to
I
therapy.
do BetterHelp. This isn't Barstool. Oh! Oh! Wow, that is curly. It is long.
It's something.
It's something.
Yeah,
and
not
he's
a
got
fan.
that weird gash on his face. He's like got what's leprosy? It looks like a little bit, but
Jesus
biblical.
Christ.
what's going on with him right now? He's like Black Jesus.
What about your boy Pat Bev, huh?
Oh my gosh!
What about-
Wait, we probably should talk about
Talk
that.
about Pat. Talk about a guy.
An asshole.
Talk about a guy who can dish it but cannot take it.
Do you subscribe to my pod? If not, get out. Are you kidding me?
I wonder how many subscribers he got that night.
Was it worth it? He just exiled himself from the NBA. Watch him never play another game in the NBA.
I think he was done anyways.
Is that it?
What do you mean? What
Yeah.
happened? Did he get suspended or?
Not
No,
yet.
but I mean,
Not
it's just
yet.
the Bucks get eliminated, and he just
He threw a ball twice into the stands.
just a sore ass loser, just a loser all
Yeah,
around.
For a
not,
guy
not
who-
a good look.
For a guy
Not
who
a good
talks
look at
that
all.
much shit to not be able to handle some shit talk back it is a bad look.
Yeah, and to do that against a very well respected producer in the television ranks there at ESPN. So
Yeah.
What are we
gives
talking
a
about?
shit?
I didn't know any of the aftermath. Who?
you don't know what happened in the aftermath.
I know what happened in the game.
You
but
know what happened in the game. So what are you talking about? You're talking
talking
about
about
the
both.
post-game interview. Okay,
talking
so
about
let's
both.
go
Yeah, I
ahead
haven't
and
seen the
pull up-
post game interview.
Let's go ahead and get Patrick Beverley's post-game interview here. Pat Bev.
Good thing he has a second career already on the way. If he's pretty
Yeah, I don't
much
think
done.
he gives a shit. I
Good
think that
for
was
him.
very clear with all of this is that he's moving on.
So post-game interview.
This is after the
they
incident.
get eliminated. Yeah, after the incident.
After he threw the balls.
After he threw the ball, there's this producer here who's just out of frame. She's an ESPN producer. She just has her phone ready to record, and she has the microphone just like anyone else would in a post-game scrum. And here's how that works.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Before I finish, you subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not subscribe.
So you can't interview me then. No
Okay, well,
disrespect.
Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Again, there were a couple times within a bucket or two. In previous games, y'all have been able to kind of get over that hump, or maybe. Was it anything they did in particular, or was it just one of those where the bucket didn't go down, there wasn't the stop, they made one? What kind of prevented that you all from being able to get over, kind of like you have in the past?
You'll move that mic, please, or just get out the circle, please, for me, please, ma'am. If you're not subscribed to my pod, I appreciate it. Thank you.
What a child.
What a
fucking
bitch.
child.
What a bitch.
What a fucking immature motherfucker, dude.
Maybe if we had the same attitude, we'd be more successful.
Maybe.
Yeah, no,
I don't think he's a model citizen even when it comes to podcasts. There's a lot more successful ones than his.
Yeah, no. The thing is I do like Pat Bev. I think that he's entertaining, but this is not surprising at all,
Yeah, sure.
right?
Yeah,
like,
I think
like he's always been immature and disliked.
a pest.
This is definitely in the same vein of, he is who we thought he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then going in and picking on a female producer for not subscribing to his pod.
To say that's picking on her, I think is going a little bit too far.
Wrong place, wrong time. For her.
Is it immature? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to be like, oh, that's so disrespectful. It's like, no, it's just childish.
It's very childish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes any deeper, but he's just an idiot. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
But-
And like I said, I think that he knows that his basketball career is nearing its end. He has, the road ahead of him is going to be successful within his media career and his podcasts and things like that. And I think that obviously that's on his mind. That's what he cares about. And so I think this is kind of a fuck you, I'm out move. And
not the greatest PR move on his part, because who's going to be like, oh, I mean, maybe he'll get like an uptick for a week or two just to hear the apology, hopefully, which I don't know if there's even been that at this point.
I mean, to think that this is not going to gain viewership and followers.
Right.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
exactly.
this is definitely going to do well for his podcast.
The only thing I hate about this, as much as we have benefited from people putting a mic in front of their face and doing a podcast, is like, I think all these players having a podcast during a season, I think has definitely affected play. And it kind of seeps in to the season and to the game. And it's in the bigger picture, it's like, people dislike social media because it gives a voice to everyone that you might not necessarily want to hear from. It's like, he's one of those people. I don't need to hear what you have to say. I don't need to hear what Gilbert Arenas has to say. Like a lot of these guys with podcasts, it's like, dude, Draymond, it feels like the whole season he just couldn't wait to get the game over with so he can run to the mic and say his piece.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part of this whole situation is Draymond Green on his podcast being like, this is egregious.
All people.
Pearl clutcher.
I can't believe
That
somebody
pearl
would do
clutcher.
something like this.
That pearl clutcher him.
You killed a man, Draymond. Pretty much.
Multiple people.
You've choked people.
Yeah, you have threatened to stab people on the court.
Oh, goodness.
And Gilbert, I don't listen to Gilbert Arenas, but I see it kind of played on Shannon Sharp's thing. He said during this week, why does Gobert need to go see his baby? He's already had one. Why does he need to be there for the second one? Okay.
I'm gonna pee my pants. I'll
All
be
right,
back.
go ahead and do that. Well, one of the things, and I will tee this up here, is when we're thinking about guys who have podcasts, it is LeBron James with JJ Redick. And
I like that one.
The way that I'm going with this is that the Los Angeles Lakers find themselves without a head coach now in Darvin Ham. Some people have thought that maybe JJ Redick might be the guy that they might tap to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. JJ Redick obviously interviewing with the Charlotte Hornets and other places. Is that a job, one, that is desirable with an aging roster, and two, is that a death sentence for a guy like JJ Redick? A first-time NBA coach, potentially.
I looked at who the favorites were, and he's about 4th or 5th down the list. But I also think JJ Redick is smart enough to not take the Lakers job.
Yeah.
Unless it's presented that you would be an idiot to not take it financially. But
the Lakers never pay when it comes to
so I don't
head coaching jobs.
JJ Redick has a pretty good career going right now. He would only jump into the coaching position if it makes sense. And I don't think he's the guy that would look at the Lakers roster and what the Lakers currently have happening and say, that's the job that I want.
Yeah.
I think the Hornets make sense.
Yeah, because of young player influence, right?
Yeah, you can coach players like LaMelo Ball and all these guys. It's like coaching the Kings or the Thunder. It makes sense for somebody like him.
Because the thing is that a job in, like for the Hornets, for instance, as your first job or whatever, you're actually able to coach because of the younger roster. The thing about like taking a job like the Lakers, it's
where you've played against these guys.
You've played against these guys, but it's personality management.
Yeah.
It is literally just managing just stubborn personalities of guys who have
the best thing that Phil Jackson did.
Yeah.
It's managing egos.
Managing egos, thank you.
You're managing egos.
I missed the word.
You're able to contain players like Dennis Rodman. You're able to contain players like Shaq. I don't think a current player, as great as their basketball mind is, like a JJ Redick or even Rondo, who's in the running, they have great basketball minds, great X's and O's, but, imagine you're coaching one of your buddies, and you tell them what to do, and they're like, "Fuck you! I remember when you fucked up in practice."
Yeah.
It's like those are the kinds of things in a big personality like Anthony Davis and LeBron James that you would get in return, and you wouldn't want that.
The thing is that like seeing how things went with Darvin Ham, like I mean, a first-time head coach with that group of guys, he was destined to fail. And the thing is that for me, I think that, like, we saw this. We saw him, like, trying to draw up plays and LeBron disengage. We saw him, like, totally stumble through and not know what he was going to do. Obviously, managing his personalities was not good. You need a veteran head coach or someone who is maybe on the tail end of their career potentially. Maybe you bring back even a guy, who knows, like Ty Lue or something like that. I don't think Ty Lue would do it. But the thing is that like I feel like you need a guy who is like very seasoned in managing the egos and not a first-time head coach. You don't bring JJ Redick or anything like that. You know a name that I kept thinking about as a guy who might be good to do that?
The favorite?
Who is the favorite right now?
Budenholzer.
Budenholzer could do it.
I think he's the best candidate for the job.
A guy who has consistently exceeded expectations except for winning you a championship, has gotten you to multiple Eastern Conference finals would be a good one.
Didn't Budenholzer win with the Bucks? He was the coach for
was
that
he the
championship
coach for that
team.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
then
he
they
was the coach for
fucking
that.
fired him out of nowhere.
They fired him out of nowhere. Yeah. You know a random name that came up for me? I thought that Terry Stotts might be a guy who might show up on a list. And I know that he won't, but he's a guy who's like been through it with LaMarcus and Dame, and he's managed good teams and whatever. He's a guy who's seasoned. And to bring in, I don't think that you go with a first-year head coach again. Because, you know, when you got a cast of characters in the Lakers who are old and who are hard, you know, whatever. And who knows, maybe you don't have LeBron again. You know, maybe he opts out.
Here's the
Who
thing.
knows?
The coaching carousel and the coaching hire for the Lakers is not necessarily who Pelinka or anyone else wants. It's who LeBron will mesh with. And that's such a big part of the decision that's frustrating. It's because first of all, they're not willing to pay for a top-tier coach. And you don't know who's coming, but every step of the decision making goes to LeBron, where who's he going to work well with? You know, is it a former player? Is it like a Budenholzer, one of these guys? But
he won a championship with Frank Vogel, and that didn't work.
The thing is, Frank Vogel's a good coach. He's actually like a decent coach. And the Lakers haven't had a good coach since Phil Jackson. But man, Darvin Ham was bad. I mean, you talk about not being able to manage egos. The guy didn't even know X's and O's.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sitting in huddles going, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone in the stands could fucking do that.
But
a guy's
man.
16 beers deep going, hey, let's get it going, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your job.
Yeah. If you were to name 2 or 3 coaches in the league right now who are kind of the no-nonsense who could contain those those personalities, those egos, who do you think?
Like, not coaching a team or anyone who's available?
I'm just saying anyone in the league, whether or not they have a job or not, who do you think could manage that? I have two names that come to mind for me. One that I don't think would ever do it because I think that he's kind of fed up with it. And he did it in Dallas, and he found his way out of it. So I think that a person who could manage it would be Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle, like, obviously he's not on a list. He's going to keep his job. He's, you know, with the Pacers, all of that. But, I mean, he's managed egos and all of that. Like, the whole Rajon Rondo thing down in Dallas was tumultuous. It seems like he's in Indiana coaching younger guys, a youthful team where he just didn't want to deal with the personalities. I think he could. The other name that came to mind for me, again, a coach that's actually still in the playoffs, would be Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau's a no-nonsense, like super gruff, get your shit in order type of a coach. But again, he runs his players into the ground, and he wouldn't take that job.
The thing with Tom Thibodeau is he would absolutely be a horrible fit with the Lakers.
He would.
But he is great with the Knicks right now because he's coaching the likes of Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. You have kind of like there's a feel of like blue collar when it comes to the Knicks.
Yeah.
You can't take that same coaching style with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So you just can't.
That's probably
they're
true.
not they're not gonna respond to you. I still think out of anyone who's available, I think Budenholzer, even though the biggest superstar he coached was Giannis, I think his clout of winning a championship will be a little bit more respected in that huddle and in that locker room. And it's going to be more respected than a former player. No matter how much they love JJ Redick or Rondo, they're just not going to play for those guys.
Yeah.
You know who's available? Belichick.
I was going to say we're pulling coaches. I think in the fantasy world, Coach K can get those guys to fucking listen to him.
That's true. Anyone
Talk about
wants to
respect
step-
and actually listening to
Holy
him.
shit,
It would be
yeah.
him, and that would be a massive move.
That would be unbelievable.
He just comes out of retirement
for like a couple years just to try it, just
Why
to try
not?
it on for size.
His puppy's already 3 years old. You can leave him at home for 9 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Other things within okay. Couple more things because with the playoffs going on, obviously like things will change, and I kind of would like to stick on the topics of things that we know that won't age here right away. The next thing being, what in the world do the Clippers do with their roster? Because obviously we have Paul George in his contract situation. What do you do with Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi Leonard, like, when it comes to his contract, do you continue to pay a guy who's only going to be there half the time? Do you invest in Paul George? You're entering a new arena next year. It sounds like Steve Ballmer wants to bring it all back. He wants to bring back the cast of characters and say, we're going to do it again.
I don't think they're going to blow it up just yet because I think that joke of an organization is counting on the fact that they're no longer going to be sharing crypto.com, and they have their own home that's super advanced and great for the
Tons
crowd.
of bathrooms. So from a marketing perspective, what you're saying is, you can put it right here.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
fine.
leave it here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just.
You're live on the show right now. Go ahead. No,
It's fine.
You're a guest.
Place it right
You're
here.
a guest.
That's okay. There we go. Mahalo.
What's your name?
Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
How long have you been doing DoorDash?
A year and a few months.
There
What
you
do you
go.
think about LeBron James?
Good. Hey. That much money, he knows what he's doing.
All right.
All right,
go.
Teresa.
Thanks,
Thank
Teresa.
you.
so much. Good night.
That's 2 weeks in a row we've had a DoorDash guest.
That is true. It's very true.
Let's keep this run
Early,
going.
early at that. So thank
Yeah.
you, Teresa. So okay. And here's another thing. As I was rudely interrupting you, was to say that, like, from a marketing perspective as well. Like, when you look at the billboard, and again, like, the Clippers are like the 9th option in LA, and I think everyone understands that. But to be able to have a Paul George, a Kawhi Leonard, all the put those guys on the billboard, you've got to be able to do that, right? But
What other what other choice do they have?
Not.
I mean, Ballmer's obsessed with the fact that he has quote unquote superstars.
That's what I was gonna say.
You blow it up, who do you have to replace them? I mean, you kind of ride these guys out, and I think
He's obsessed with the
I think they're a
names.
fucking joke. I mean, the Clippers have always been a joke, and they're gonna keep being the joke of the fucking league. I mean, you have former MVPs in your team, and then you have your best player who rarely shows up and suits up. It's just
never seems to. Well, and he'll tell you that he probably plays through injury, but
doesn't Taylor Swift have more banners on the Clippers than fucking Staples or Crypto?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Pete, or Miguel. Sorry, I never agree with Pete.
Fair.
But I think that the way the Clippers organization is run, it makes sense that they would try to just ride this out. Ride the high of the new stadium and the new environment. Keep the same guys. We got to the playoffs. We've got James Harden. We've got Kawhi Leonard. We've got all these big names. The billboards are going to look nice. The tickets are going to sell because of those names. we don't need to win now. Let's ride this out. Make sure our season ticket holders are happy when they pay too much for their seats.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they can create the perception that they are going to win now and know when it all is said and done that they're not.
That's all it is. It's you can convince your fan base and yourself that we would have gone farther in the playoffs if we had Kawhi.
Yeah.
And you just ride that train until it's
Kawhi's eventually
proven
gonna
you
be
wrong.
healthy.
And it's like, okay,
Eventually
this
he's
isn't
gonna be
it.
healthy.
So I don't know if this is a hot take or not. You guys can tell me because you're a little bit more into basketball than I am. But is Kawhi Leonard possibly one of the biggest, like, flash in the pan players of all time?
No, I disagree. Go ahead. I disagree.
I don't think it's flash in the pan. For me, I think that it is one of the most unrealized opportunities, right? Where it's just kind of like you saw what he was and what he was able to do with Toronto and win that championship and to be as, just perfect of a fit in that 1 year rental. It is just kind of one of those unrealized opportunities that I think where you're just never got the full everything. Where when Kawhi is on the court, he is unquestionably one of the best in the world. And to not have that and to have the opportunity to see that is one of the biggest disappointments, I think, for all NBA fans. To be able to say, we'll never really know just how awesome Kawhi Leonard really was because his reputation will be marred, will be stained by just the amount of times that he just wasn't available to you.
I think the reason I disagree with that take is that take only focuses on what he did in Toronto and then after. It's like you won a championship with the Raptors. Cool. That team will never win a championship again in our lifetime unless they pull some sort of great fucking move in the executive boardroom, whatever. And people also claim you beat a wounded Warriors team. If Klay didn't go down in Game 6, there's no way you would have beaten the fucking Warriors. If Kevin Durant didn't get hurt, whatever. I get it. Injuries are a part of the game. Maybe the Raptors lucked out. But don't forget that Kawhi Leonard is a finals MVP and won 3 rings with fucking San Antonio. And he won those 3 rings on an aging big 3. Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. He was the engine that was running that team. As good as those guys weren't like, non-factors.
Yeah.
But we weren't talking about 03 Spurs. We're talking about 14. We're talking about the team that beat Miami in 2010. Kawhi maybe didn't average 30, but he was scoring 19 points a game.
He was a big X factor for the Spurs. For sure.
That Kawhi is why the Raptors wanted him. And I think the take of saying he is overrated or flash in the pan is because people are just saying there's no way you would have beaten Golden State if they weren't hurt. But there's a Kawhi previous to that. That was the reason why the Raptors fought for him.
Probably my favorite Kawhi was that.
Yeah. And
maybe flash in the pan is the wrong phrase. I like what you said with unrecognized potential. Like, because he had this great kind of ascend into that Raptors championship with, San Antonio and all that you're kind of referring to here. And then just kind of seeing this pretty clear dissension from there. It, as a kind of casual NBA fan, admittedly, it's kind of like, oh, well, he was good early, but
I think that thing that plays against him is, don't forget he has 4 rings. I mean, the number of players to have 4 championship rings is pretty slim.
I thought he had 2. That's my bad.
So it's 3 with the Spurs and 1 with the Raptors. The biggest thing that plays against him is everyone's kind of been doing the Kawhi lottery since the Raptors. Where's Kawhi going to go next? The Lakers are always in the running. So-and-so is always in the running. And he's being put on these super teams. And then whenever he fails, a.k.a. is injured, it's like, what's happening to you? I guarantee you if he just goes to like a normal team that's not, aka not LA, if he just goes to a normal team, there wouldn't be some of the takes like, oh, you're kind of overrated or whatever. It's like he got it done. He got it done before he got to this point.
That's true. And I was going to ask, it was like, does he just need to be a number 3? But he was a number 1 in Toronto, and he won them the championship. The thing is that, like, I hate that my perception or that my thought about Kawhi whenever he is hurt or prolonged or whatever, I go, are you, though? Are you? And I know that that's probably unfair because I know
I'm with you, though.
But also a lot of players will play through that. But it's just kind of like, suck it up, man. It's the playoffs. Like, that's kind of what we say. We're not in his body. I know that we can't speak for him, but it's kind of like, are you, though?
Yeah, it's like that. Like,
or are you just going to get paid anyways?
It's like that guy in high school sports, Pete. I'm sorry if you don't understand this. But
foreign language.
But there's always that kid who was on the high school team that was, like, always hurt. Oh, I can't do this drill. I can't. I can't do this run through, whatever.
But I get to wear the jersey on Fridays.
Yes, but I get to wear the shirt
and
suited
tie.
up on Fridays, ready to go out on special teams, when the game comes around. And it's always that kind of thought. It's like, dude, what, are you really injured, or is this just a put on? And you start to get that kind of feeling with Kawhi. It's like, how often can this happen that you're just totally unavailable?
I don't disagree with you on that level. Like, you had a lot of those teammates. It's like, I get to wear the shirt and the tie because I'm on the basketball team. I get to wear the jersey, and girls ask me to wear my away jersey, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing I don't necessarily I don't agree with, and if I'm wrong, whatever, but I'm always going to side on this until I'm proven wrong. When you're looking at a professional athlete, and there's such a small percentage of professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, these guys get to that stage and get to that point because they're completely different than the rest of us. They're just wired differently. A lot of them are weird. A lot of them are the Kobes of the world. They're antisocial. They don't function the same way that we do. So I don't always agree with the take that someone is sitting there going, I could play, but I'm making millions. I think truly, genuinely, these guys want to be out there. And I think it bothers them more than we think that they can't play.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right.
Because if they're in the mindset of, I'm done playing this game, then I don't want to be in that environment at all. If you're wired like them, I don't want to be in that environment if I'm done with basketball. And it's not like, well, I'm already making, I'm making $29 million. It's cush. It's a cush job. Cool. I'm not going to play. I don't think they think that way at all. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't think these guys, the 300 guys in the NBA, I don't think they think like that.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the only rebuttal I have to that, and I kind of think similarly, but on the opposite end, we're dealing with humans. This is their job, and we've all, 3 of us, been in jobs where it's like, you know what, I don't love this, and I don't even like it, but I'm making really good money. And I can kind of just ride it out for a while and still make this good money until they don't really want me more, or I've had enough. That is a possibility. I agree with you that 99% of the guys in the NBA or any professional sport have this, kind of otherworldly mindset and motivation. But we've also got to accept that there is a possibility that they're just like us. You know what I mean?
Kawhi's got nothing left to prove.
I don't deny that, but I think my rebuttal to that, the difference is, if we were staying at a job where we're thinking that way, we didn't work all our lives to get to that job.
Yeah.
These guys that got to this stage in this sport, I mean, they've been doing it since they were kids. There's a love that they have for that game that we don't with our fucking jobs. Like, yes, it's a job to them, but, man, they've been doing it since they were 8. And it's like, if you're done, there is a feeling that it's almost sad where you're like, I can't do this anymore. And when I feel like that about something, I don't want to be in that environment. I don't want to be reminded that I can't move the same way that I used to. My mind's telling me to do something, my body can't do it. And I feel that's where I kind of separate these professional athletes from the average Joes.
Yeah.
The one thing though, when we look at just like Kawhi has like made his career on load management. Like to basically say I'm not going to push it. And I think that like outside of all of a sudden, you know, he didn't play anything with San Antonio, then he goes to Toronto, he plays 60 games or whatever. But when we look at like every game, the most games that he has played in a year is 74, and that was in 2016, 2017. Since then, he hasn't cracked the 70s since 2016, 2017. And so it's just kind of like he's gotten away with load management his entire career. So what's just to say that this isn't kind of built in to his mindset? And again, I'm not there. I haven't played. I haven't done that. But I'm just kind of saying, like, this is a trend. This is a trend that, like, can't, like, when you go, I'm going to get paid. And I know that this is probably pedestrian thought, and I admit that. But it's like, I'm getting paid all this money. Am I saying that, like, the long game, if I play the long game and I don't go out there and fuck up my knee and ruin myself and use XYZ as an example, you know, maybe Derrick Rose ruins his knee and he was never the same again, versus do I just not push that and do I play the long game here? Do I just go and say, I probably could, but would I be more of a detriment? It does become a mental thing. It's probably, again, not fair. But again, it's my perception of him. Is that it's just kind of like, what more does he have to prove? He's a guy, and again, this is hot takey, but I'll say it anyways. He is a Ben Simmons with 4 rings.
Oh, God, that is a fucking insult, dude. Talk about the biggest dumbass media take you've ever had. To compare Kawhi Leonard with Ben Simmons is a fucking ridiculous
The guy's
take.
not going out there and playing. It doesn't seem like he's trying to prove anything.
The difference is Ben Simmons never wanted to play. To compare Kawhi to Ben Simmons, I don't know why I'm talking about it.
But
it's just ridiculous.
To that point, I think that Ben Simmons is a good example of kind of what I was referring to, of that person who has done it all their life, who has played at a really high level, and gets to a point where they don't love it anymore. And you know,
Ben Simmons has felt there's not been one season in the league since he became a professional basketball player where you saw Ben Simmons kind of prove to you that he didn't feel that way. I mean, it was like right when he entered the league, it's been the Ben Simmons that we know. It's like he didn't even want to get to that stage. Yeah. And you mentioned it too, the fact that it's maybe an unfair take. If the likes of LeBron, who's 39 years old or 40 years old, whatever, if he's out there and he's sucking, then you're like, dude, why are you pushing it? It's like, could Kawhi be thinking I would do more damage in playing? Because if someone like him goes out and plays and he's not the same, then you're kind of judging him the same way. Like, dude, get off the court.
I would think that probably the thing that I will give LeBron the most credit for is playing through pain. I think we all know how much that guy plays through the multiple injuries, through the foot, through just like, especially this year with his foot, but just like everything out there is like, I have to be out there. And I admire that. If I could ever say something nice about LeBron James, it is that I admire his ability to play through all of that, whether or not it is through helping the team, his own arrogance, his own, competitive drive. Like, I respect that about him.
I think there's two schools of thought, obviously. Do you respect it, or do you say, hey, man, this is detrimental, this is dumb, take the time? Do you take the Kawhi route, assuming that he has all best intentions and that he's trying to protect his body and do what's best for himself and the team? Or do you go the LeBron route where it's like, all or nothing, I don't care if I injure myself, this is my legacy?
Another great comparison, maybe not Kawhi and LeBron, but look what happened to the Sixers this year. I mean, Joel Embiid was playing because of Toradol.
Yeah, the guy
and 14 different injections.
Doped up.
And if you're a Philly fan, you could have said, dude, we didn't need him out there just to ruin whatever 1, 2, 3 years left.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the complete other side of the Kawhi conversation we're having.
Sure.
You could have forced him to be out there and could say the same thing. We didn't accomplish anything. We got bounced anyway. I mean, Embiid did not look good. He looked like a sick dude out there. He was moving like he was just got out of a hospital bed. And who knows? Kawhi could have looked the same if he was forcing it through stuff. We would never know. But I think that is the complete opposite, like other side of what we're talking about. Because Philly fans would tell you we would have just rather have him sit.
Yeah.
Because it didn't look good anyway.
Well, I appreciate you indulging my hot take about Kawhi. Because who knows? It's up in the air.
It's up in the air.
Overlooked. Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
That guy's fucking crazy.
Electric.
And this proves the theory that I think Candace Parker kind of brought up in the inside the NBA panel. The guards in the NBA are not treated the same. Like if you're a superstar, if you're a guard, if you're a small guy, you are not treated the same, especially if you're not flashy. You know, like think about how much attention the likes of Ja and Dame got. I mean, who's talking about Jalen Brunson? I just want to let you know he hasn't scored less than 35 in the entire fucking playoffs.
Yeah, I think he has 4 straight games with 40 points in the playoffs. The last person to do that, Michael Jordan.
You know why he's not getting, why is he not getting any attention? Why is no one talking about him? Because he's not flashy.
Yeah.
He is efficient. He's the definition of a fucking efficient player. But he's not getting any attention for some
Knicks
reason.
fans absolutely love him too, and as they should.
Until they let him down and they're gonna fucking burn his jersey.
I think he's won him over for sure.
The Nova guys are balling out.
Nova Knicks. I will say, basketball is a little bit more fun when the Knicks are involved.
You want
having the New York Crazies getting down in Madison
and after
Square Garden.
The fact,
yeah, and that. When you're watching the games,
the arena too.
You can tell there is a clear difference.
You can feel it
of when they're in MSG compared to any other stadium, any other series that you watch. It's like, damn,
there's always a handful of people that will say we want to see somebody else. We want to see somebody else, but there's a reason that big market teams are big market teams. You want them there. They pull people's attention as casual NBA fans or non-NBA fans. We'll watch it if the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Knicks are there. And then you can come up with storylines after that big market is playing. Like right now, the Pacers Knicks, it's like the good old Charles Oakley, Reggie Miller days. Mm-hmm. You know, you can pull those storylines. But big market helps when you're there, and I completely agree. You don't want the Knicks to be bad. You want them to be around because Madison Square Garden is fucking electric when they're there.
It is wild to me that, how Brunson got to the Knicks still. It's just how things
Dallas let him go.
Yeah, just how that didn't work out in Dallas. They're like, oh, just go ahead. And obviously there was probably a little bit more involved to that.
He was willing to take a pay cut to stay in Dallas.
Yeah, and then he goes to the Knicks and just absolutely. Just his ability to play both inside, outside in, inside. It's just he can murder you from so many different ways. You don't exactly know which way.
I like the Knicks. I'm cheering for them hard.
The one unfortunate thing about the Knicks winning, though, is the Bing Bong is starting to make a comeback.
Oh, the Bing Bong's coming back. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
I kind of like it. Moderation.
Of course. That is not surprising.
Big Bing Bong guy. Big Bing Bong guy.
Oh, man. I'm ready for football, huh?
And
it's off season, you're just counting down the days until
just
football.
Counting down the days.
No, and I don't say that because I do think that playoff basketball is fun and I do enjoy watching it. And by the way, playoff basketball on HBO Max has saved my basketball fandom because.
Is it like Nickelodeon where they do the green slime when they make a shot?
I just don't.
Jalen Brunson for 3. Bing bong.
I just don't have cable.
Yeah.
So having the games on HBO actually gets me interested because I'm able to watch them.
Yeah.
So shout out Max.
Shout out to you, Max.
But outside of that, not trying to take away from NBA, but I was just I forget what I was reading. It was on ESPN or something about the NFL, and I was like, God damn. It's going to be fun. And college football. I'm so excited for college football this year.
Yeah, with this year. We got to figure out if
12-team playoff.
We got to figure out if we're going to Ann Arbor for my birthday.
Oh, man, I would love to.
Is that going to be it's November?
November
Snow
2nd.
game?
Is
Yes.
November
Yes,
2nd, my
okay.
birthday.
It's going to be cold.
My birthday.
It's going to be cold.
I'd also love to go to a Denver game. I'd also love to go to another Chargers game.
The Denver plays the Browns at home.
These are, I mean, talk about a fucking tease. We can't do these trips the same way we used to. I mean, when's the last time we saw a group of friends? Twice a year, maybe? Yeah. Now we're talking. The trips are, even Corvallis is getting harder and harder. We're talking about Michigan.
I mean, hey,
how
if
much
it's,
do you love me?
If it's just us three, it's just us three.
Yeah. Suck it up and come, boys.
God, Arreola boys out of control. Let's get the fuck out of here.
That was tough. That was tough.
Oh boy! And you let it
We
linger
went from
for a little.
we
beat
started
there.
with boobies and ended there.
To suck it up and come, boys, which did not. I don't know if I knew what I was gonna say. All right, we gotta go. We've got food here, so
All right.
Let's
Clear
go.
eyes.
Full heart.
Can't lose.
Come, boys.